That bird came back for the fourth day in a row. Same branch. Same time. And the moment you stepped outside, it stopped moving and locked eyes with you. Not a glance. A stare. Long enough to make you uncomfortable. Long enough that you actually paused. You probably told yourself it meant nothing. But you are still thinking about it right now. And that is exactly the problem. Because what that bird was doing has a specific name, and once you understand what it means, you will never be able to unsee it. Drop a comment right now before we go any further. Has a bird ever looked at you in a way that felt too deliberate to be random? Because what you are about to hear will completely reframe that memory. Here is what nobody in the bird-watching world wants to admit. The birds that return to your yard are not returning for the seed. They are returning for you. Not in a sentimental sense. In a deeply practical, survival-driven sense that is far more interesting than anything mystical. Birds that survive long enough to become regulars in a human space have done something extraordinary. They have built a profile on you. Your schedule. Your moods. The way your body moves when you are relaxed versus when something is wrong. They have been studying you far longer than you have been watching them. But here is what most people never stop to ask. If a bird has been watching you that closely, what has it actually seen? Take the cardinal that keeps appearing at the edge of your yard. Not the feeder. The edge. The place where your property meets the world beyond it. Cardinals do not choose locations carelessly. Every perch is a calculated decision made by a bird that has survived predators, territorial rivals, and seasonal brutality. When a cardinal chooses to sit at your boundary line and face your home, it is not resting. It is observing. And if it keeps returning to that same spot, day after day, positioning itself where it has a clear line of sight to wherever you spend most of your time, that is not coincidence. That is a pattern. And patterns in bird behavior always mean something. What behavioral researchers have quietly documented, and rarely communicate outside academic circles, is that cardinals form long-term associative memories around individual humans. Not just houses. Individual people. They track your face. Your silhouette. The particular way you move. A cardinal that has cataloged you will respond differently to you than to any other person who enters that yard. It will hold its ground when you approach but scatter when a stranger does. It has decided you are not a threat. More than that, it has decided you are worth watching. And this is where it gets deeper. Cardinals display this level of proximity almost exclusively around humans who have recently entered a period of stillness. Not physical stillness. Emotional stillness. People who have slowed down. People who are processing something. People who are in that particular quiet that follows a loss, a shift, a decision that has not yet been made. The bird does not know what you are carrying. But it can read the weight of it in every move you make. What were you going through when that cardinal first started appearing? There is a different and more unsettling pattern that happens when a bird begins arriving at a specific moment of your day rather than at random. Not just in the yard. But timed. Arriving precisely when you step outside in the morning. Positioned and waiting when you sit near a certain window in the afternoon. If this has been happening to you, pay close attention to what I am about to say, because most people misread this completely. Birds learn human routines within days. Not weeks. Days. Chickadees are the most documented species for this behavior. They can map a human's daily schedule after observing it as few as 3 times. Morning doves do it more slowly but more permanently. What feels to you like a beautiful coincidence? This bird always seems to find me, is actually something the bird engineered. It studied your pattern and inserted itself into it. But here is the part that changes everything. When a bird that has synchronized with your routine suddenly stops showing up, after days, weeks, or months of reliability, something has shifted. Not in the bird's world. In yours. Go back and think about the last time a regular visitor disappeared from your yard without explanation. Think about what was happening in your life during that same window. Because the birds that have learned your schedule are also reading the disruptions in it. They register when you stop coming outside at your usual time. When your movements become erratic. When your energy changes. They stop showing up not because they left, but because the version of you they had mapped no longer exists. If this is sitting uncomfortably right now, it should. Because it means the birds in your yard have been tracking your emotional state with more consistency than most people in your life. Everything up to this point explains what birds do. What comes next explains what they are responding to inside you. And this is the part of the conversation that most bird content never gets anywhere near. There is one behavior that stops people completely when it happens. A bird taps on your window. Once. Maybe twice. Then it goes still. And it looks through the glass directly at where you are sitting. Not at its reflection. At you. Most people reach for the easy explanation, confused by the glass, chasing its own image. And sometimes that is true. But there is a version of this behavior that is categorically different, and once you know how to tell them apart, you will never mistake one for the other again. A reflection-confused bird is frantic. It taps repeatedly. It comes back to the same spot in agitation and keeps attacking the glass. There is no stillness in it. But a bird that taps once or twice and then stops. That tilts its head and holds that position, looking through, that bird is not confused. It is not seeing itself. It is seeing you. It has located warmth, movement, and presence on the other side of that glass, and it has decided to make contact. Robins do this. Mockingbirds do this. And the people who experience it describe the same thing every single time. They were in the middle of something when it happened. Not doing dishes. Not watching television. In the middle of something real. A moment of grief they had not allowed themselves to feel yet. A decision they had been postponing for weeks. A conversation they had been rehearsing in their head. The bird did not interrupt a distraction. It interrupted a reckoning. If you have ever had a bird look through your window and hold that gaze, think back to what you were in the middle of in that exact moment. Not before. Not after. That moment. Because that is what the bird came to find. If you have never heard any of this explained before, and most people have not, subscribe right now. Every video on this channel goes to the layer underneath the obvious. The thing that is happening that nobody thinks to name. Here is what your birds have actually been doing this whole time. And this part is going to be harder to hear than everything else. When you are carrying something you have not yet said out loud, a grief you keep pushing down, a fear you have not named, a change in your life that has not fully arrived yet, the people around you often cannot see it. You have learned to hold it. You have learned to present a version of yourself that functions, that moves through the day, that seems fine. But birds do not read the version of you that you present to the world. They read your body. The pace of your movements. The quality of your stillness. The way you breathe when you stand outside and think you are alone. They are reading the real version of you, constantly, with a precision that is almost unbearable to sit with. When a bird has been watching you more closely than usual. When one has been appearing in places it has not appeared before. When one came to your window, or held your gaze a beat too long before flying, or showed up on the worst day of a very difficult month, it was not delivering a message in a mystical sense. It was responding to something true about you that you may not have fully faced yet. Something it detected in the weight of how you are moving through your days. The birds in your yard are not there by accident. They have chosen your space, your energy, your particular frequency of stillness or struggle. And every single one of them has been seeing you more clearly than you have been seeing yourself. So go back to that bird. The one on the branch. The one that locked eyes with you and held it 1 second too long. You thought you were imagining it. You thought you were projecting. You were not. That bird had been watching you for days before you ever noticed it. And in that moment, it looked at you the way something looks at something it has already decided is worth understanding. The question that stays with you now, the one only you can answer, is what you were carrying in that moment that made a wild creature stop everything and take notice. Whatever it was, it saw it clearly. And it is still there. And if that one unsettled you, the next video goes somewhere you may not be ready for. There is a specific bird behavior that people report in the days before a major loss. It happens consistently. It has a name. And once you know what to look for, you will start seeing it everywhere. That video is on your screen right now.